The best thing about these clocks is they work in the dark. All right, these clocks have been around for 13 years now in 2026. I think it was about 2013 when they first came out. May have been a little earlier. They work pretty much the same as they did back then, except there's a few less features. I had one that had green numbers on it, and I gave it away to a kid in the chess club that needed a clock. He was a pretty good chess player. And I actually made him think he won it in a bet. Well, he did. He beat me and won in a bet, but I wanted to give him the clock. So I gave that away. Back then, they had a few more features. I'm going to talk about that. But anyway, I bought another one because a few years ago, when my son was still in high school and he was in a band, we went on a band trip to Baton Rouge. And a lot of the band kids were in the high school chess club. By the way, if you don't know, I'm a high school teacher and have a chess club. And so we were out there by the pool. A lot of people were swimming and stuff. But the chess kids, we were playing some blitz chess. And it got late evening. You know, it was late June. It got late evening. Pool lights were on around the pool. And we could see the chessboard. But we couldn't see our, regular LCD black digital clocks very well. None of the ones we had, we could see what the time was, but we could see the chessboards well enough to play, but we couldn't see this. And I realized if I still had one of these LED lights that we could see the time a little better. So I bought one. But anyway, time to do a review. I know I'm late to the party on this, but hey, let's go. All right. One of the biggest issues you're going to have with this is the screen is only the digits. All right, so when you do a delay like this, I've got 25 minutes with a 5-second delay. You've got three choices on what happens. Right here, I've got it where it just replaces the time and shows you the 5-second delay. Now, this does do tenths of a second when it gets down under a minute. And so the seconds count down by tenths of a second. So they go pretty quick when you're on the 25. But you see that 5 right there? It lasts for a second because the delay doesn't work like that really. But it doesn't say 2500 very long. All right, so let's change the delay a little bit. Before I do that, I want to show you with this one, which is made by the same company, and I really like this one. All right, you've got room on the screen for it to show the delay without replacing the time. All right, it works pretty much the same way. But this one, you don't, but hey, it lights up and you can use it in low light conditions playing in the evening. They said, don't use this outside. Well, you don't use it outside in bright sunlight, but in the shade, it works well. And outside in the evening, if you've got like dim porch lights or something and you can see the chessboard, but you can't see an LCD screen too well, boom, this thing is perfect for that kind of condition. All right, so what we're gonna do is you get 3 presets. I've got it set for a 5-minute game. I got it set for a 25 minute delay, and I got it set for a 3-minute, 2-minute increment blitz game. I usually use this clock for blitz anyway. Love the black and gold. They say black and yellow, but hey, it's black and gold in real life. You know, I love my Saints. Went to Southern Miss. They're black and gold. Southern Miss to the top, and love that my high school that I went to was black and gold too. All right, back to this one. So you're gonna hold this down real quick and it's gonna blink. Now, we can change the time. Hours, and this N is supposed to represent minutes. It's 2 N's, but it's supposed to look like 1 M to represent minutes. All right, minutes, seconds. Now we're at the delay. So you hit this, and the first thing you can do now, and I don't remember being able to do this on the old one, I really don't. All right, is that C stands for constant. And as you saw on the delay, we had it for constant. Now that stands for time. It's gonna show the time the entire time of the delay. And the F stands for flash. So let's look at the time real quick, okay? So that's all I want. Cycle through, we'll go through these cycles in a minute, what they mean, how they work. And I could go backwards too. Get to play, hit that, 25. And now what happens is the colon blinks 5 times, or how many times your delay is. And so you still get to see your regular time during the delay. And a lot of older clocks work that way. My old dual timer worked like that. And, you know, the DGT North American that was around for years before they changed it recently, It just had a little thing that was hard to read that said delay, and then the colon beeped, and you didn't know what your time was. So anyway, I actually kind of like this for the delay. It's supposed to just wait on the clock for a little bit, and then boom, then it goes. All right. Now do it again, and we'll show you what it looks like when it flashes. All right. Hit that. Change it to flash. Hit that. And now I'll go backwards through the thing. It's easier to play that way. And it flashes every second. This drives the epileptics crazy. I don't mind it too much, but a lot of people really don't like the flashing. A lot of the young kids love the flashing because it flashes. All right, so what other features can we do on this thing? All right, let's show you how we'd set an increment. I'm gonna go to my 3-second, 2-second increment one here. Hold it down till it goes. All right, first thing is delay. Delay is off when it's at 0. Skip. Now we got increment. I've got increment set for 2. We want to change the increment to something else. Change it to 5, change it to 30, change it to whatever you want to. If you hold it down, it just runs like that. I'll change it to 5. Boom. All right, so now I can go back to play. Now it's a 3-5. Boom, we see it doesn't show up with 3-5. That's because it's counting with the tenths of a second. All right? So as soon as it goes from 3:05 to 3:04.9, it shows 3:04, right? So anyway, that's how that works. All right, let's go. Got a straight 5-minute game here. Let me show you what we would do if we wanted to change this to something different. All right, let's change this to a multi-period game, okay? So we're gonna hold this down and wait a minute. I did that too quick. All right. Now I want to go to hours and minutes. Let's say we wanted to do a 2-hour game, okay? A multi-period game with 2 hours. I can go ahead and change this now, but I don't have to. All right. What did I do wrong? Works easier when it's not on camera. There we go. Want to get into the menu modes. So you go here to period. All right, period 1. Let's say we wanted to do 40 moves. 40 moves. Boom. Okay. And the time, 2 hours. That'd be 120 minutes. This is minutes. So 2 hours you said is 120 minutes. Boom. All right, all. Let's say we wanted another period. Second period. Let's say we go to, what did I do? I'm gonna have to edit this part. Go back, period. Period 1, I want 40 moves. I did something wrong. Back to 120 minutes. We'll get this right. Hey, this is real life, you know. Hate to waste your time on this. It only goes up to 3 hours, which is 180 minutes. All right, boom, that's set. Now all, I wanna change all to period 2, okay? And I wanna change this to, let's say we want to do 20 moves. 20 moves in an hour. Just being ridiculous. I'm not going to play a game this long, but some of you might. All right, and then period 3, you can't do any more than that. And let's just make the sudden death period 30 minutes. Boom. All right, that's what we got. 40, 120. All right. Second period, 20 and 60. And then all in 30, all right? Now, when it's all blinking like this, we can cycle through the menu, get down to play. That's what I got. I didn't set a delay or an increment on it, but you could, you know? All right, that little flashing right there was the number of moves. So after about 4 or 5 seconds, it will flash the number of moves. Let's show you to flash the number of moves you're on and let you know what the moves are. All right, so that's how you do that. All right, let's go to, I need to get rid of this one. I don't want this one. So let's go to, I want this to go back to a 5 minute. So, all right. Estimate in seconds, 5 minutes. Cycle through 5 minutes. It doesn't repeat to the other side like some more modern clocks do nowadays. All right, now I'm set for a straight 5 minute game. But let me show you some of the features. Go back to the 5 minutes. All right, hours, minutes, seconds, delay. All right, you got flash and you got the time. Increment. All right. I actually want the increment to go down a little bit. Let's go back here. I don't want increment on my 5 minute game. All right. It goes back to play, increment, delay. That's the periods that we said earlier. Now this is a silly thing that a lot of clocks still do called hourglass. I don't ever use it, but sometimes the kids like to play with it. It counts up on one side and counts down on the other. I do have on one of my DGD clocks where you can start at one side at 0, and then that makes a timer that counts up and counts down. And I use that when I'm testing and stuff, especially the standardized tests at school. So like if they have like 45 minutes on a test, they can see one clock is counting down and the other clock is counting up. Well, these clocks used to have that feature back when they first came out, but they don't have that feature anymore. And you can't set the hourglass to start at 0. But let me show you what one side to start at 0. But let me show you how it works. You set the hourglass time. All right. That's seconds. We'll set it for a minute. So it'll go to 60 seconds. You can't set this much more than a, you can set it, I guess, for more than a minute. So we're at a minute. All right. So how does hourglass work? That side's counting up while this side counts down. Now this side counts down while this side counts up. All right. Now, I don't know why you want to play a game like that, but it is helpful, you know, for timing things sometimes. All right. Anyway, enough of hourglass. Let's get rid of that. Come on. Hold it down. Blink. I keep letting it up too soon. That's what I want. All right. 5 minutes. I want my 5 minutes back now. Go to this again. Cycle through the menu. The first menu is the delay. You can do flash. Like I said, flash, where it shows the time constantly, or where it constantly shows the flash. All right, I like it on constant, so I'm gonna go back to that, but I don't have delay going on this one anyway, so it doesn't make a hill of beans different. Increment, periods, hourglass. Now this is for Go players and the special Biomi overtime. That's for Scrabble players, and you can set the Scrabble time. Most Scrabble games are 25 minutes with a minute overtime, with the overtime, and the first minute or fraction of a minute, you're penalized 10 seconds. So for 1 second or for 1 minute, you're penalized 10 points. 10 points. For 101 up to 2 minutes, you're penalized 20 points and so forth. And that's how Scrabble works. It gets to 0 and starts to count up, and you're penalized 10 points for every minute or a fraction of a minute that you go overtime. All right. FIDE. This means that the clock will stop when one side ends, because that's how they play in Europe. All right. In the US, you got to notice that your opponent's clock has run out, so I keep that off. Increment. You can put this on pre or post, okay? I like it on post. That means that you get, when you hit the clock, your increment time is shown on the clock, not when your opponent hits the clock and then it shows it. All right. I like it on post. LEDs, that's these lights on top. I like them on, but you can certainly turn them off if you want. I like them on. Sound, turn it off, and you can see it's silent now. I like the sound on when I'm playing at home or by ourselves, but if you're at a tournament, you need to turn the sound off. All right? And then it goes to play mode. The older clocks had 2 more functions. They had that count up I talked about, and they also had a mode for scorekeeping where it just showed 0-0, and you hit this and it counts up each time. So like, let's say you're playing a classroom game where people have points, or maybe you've got an extra clock and you're trying to keep track of how many blitz games you win. You can do that, or just for keeping score, but they don't have that in these clocks anymore. Anyway, this is a tough clock. It runs on 4C batteries. You can get these for $40 to $50. They work well. They're fun. They're great in low light conditions, so I think everybody should have one. If you've ever played in a low light condition in the evening, like out by the pool at the hotel or something like that, they're great for those kind of things. If you play in a dim area, like in a bar room or something, these are perfect, because some people play in bars or dimly lit coffee shops. And if you're playing in a dimly lit place where a LCD screen doesn't show up, get you a ZMF 2. All right, went long, but hey, these are good clocks. I like them. I really do. And I love the black and gold combo. You can get them in white, green, blue, and red. And they might have some other colors, pink or something like that. And sometimes you can get the cases in clear or the cases in other colors as well. All right, and to turn it off, just flip it. Look how cool it is when it comes on. All right. I got my 5-minute, my 25-5, and my 3-2, and those are the games I mostly use. So those are the games I mostly play. Anyway, unless I go to a tournament, I got to set it for something else. Thanks for watching. Big Lou.